daughter was raped at 12, would you make her have the baby? I'm not sure if you're aware of this. She's gonna have the baby.
Believe it or not, this is a real human being. One who walks the same planet that we walk. One whose vote counts exactly the same as ours. He's a perfect example of what the pro-life movement really believes. Because at the end of the day, the arguments against abortion is not to protect life. Because no human who cares about life would want this situation to happen, especially to their own daughter. When it comes to the legalization of abortion, it is all about control. So idiots like this can feel a little bit of power. That was the motivation for my story, The Termination Bureau, where abortion has been made illegal. But after the baby is born, you are allowed to sell it, but only with permission from the state. Because even then, they want to have control of who gets to sell their baby and who doesn't. So when the character in my story named Jocelyn Adams at 13 years old finds herself in this situation, this is what happened. The secretary showed Jocelyn Adams to office number 3, where inside sat the moral advisor assigned her case. He was a tall man, a slender man, an old man. "Sit," he said, without looking up. Jocelyn sat in the chair across from him. She grabbed her application from her ripped-out backpack, setting it gently on the table. The application took all of the night prior to fill out. She had done so quietly, with her room lights off and only the light from her phone to guide her. Jocelyn tapped her toes anxiously as she watched him flip a page. Her head started to pound. The fetus swayed inside. A few pages later, the moral advisor stopped suddenly. He removed his reading glasses and looked up at Jocelyn. "It seems," he said, "you have neglected to get the signature from the man who has impregnated you. According to the law here in the state of Florida, a pregnant girl or woman is not permitted to sell her baby without written permission from the man who impregnated her. I am afraid I cannot approve your application." "But sir," said Jocelyn, "you see," she stopped. A tear rolled down her cheek. She averted her eyes from the moral advisor whose judgment was piercing her skin. She found a nice piece of carpet below to focus on instead. "You see," she continued, "the man who impregnated me is, well, it was my father. And he refuses to sign." The moral advisor grabbed the handbook from the shelf behind his desk. He flipped through the pages with familiarity. When he found the page he needed, he turned the book to Jocelyn and pointed at the 7th line on the left page. As she looked at the words, the moral advisor rehearsed them from memory. "It matters not who the man is, whether he be a blood relative, a rapist, a liberal, an atheist, a retard, or all of the above. If he is an American citizen, then it is his right to choose what becomes of his unborn child. The woman he impregnates is simply the carrier of his property, not the owner or decider of what happens to it." If you would like to find out what happens next, my book, The Crumbling of a Nation and Other Stories, is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, the TikTok Shop, and Audible.